This stream contains fast flashing images that may affect viewers who are susceptible to photosensitive epilepsy and other photosensitivities. Viewer discretion is advised.
Today, it is do or die. 4 world-class teams are facing elimination, and if they want to make a lower bracket run, the time is now. Hello and welcome to Day 3 of Game Changers Championship 2024, coming to you live from a very lively Riot Games arena in Berlin, Germany. I'm Mika Fabs here alongside Kakuka and Mitchman, and can I just say, it's an honor to be here in the home of EMEA.
We're so happy to have you here.
I'm so happy to be here.
I was so worried that you were not going to make it to the event, and I had to stick with Mitch for the entire
I was really nervous for a little bit. But I'm here right now, and I'm so happy. And this is, I'm just pretty starstruck by the studio.
Yeah, I mean, this is a very lovely studio, and the color scheme fits very well. I am a bit sad though that your first day is going to be an elimination day.
I know it's kind of shocking, and it's like I just got here, and suddenly somebody has to go home. But first, let's talk about how we got here and what happened on day 2, because we had 3 back-to-back matches, including our first look at both of our former champions in G2 and SR.
Yeah, I mean, looking at yesterday, G2, I expected to see them win coming into it, and although they managed to find it in the end, I was certainly a little bit shaken seeing those first couple results come in. This is a squad that most certainly was able to bring the heat on the other side, and look, I'm not too worried about what G2 will be able to do moving forward. We know this is a team that can come in a little overconfident. They can stumble a little bit, but they always screw their heads on just in time. But we also heard that this year was somewhere that they've already had that wake-up call. So seeing teams challenge them like that, we don't get the excuse anymore that, oh, they weren't really trying. This is a very scary Crew Blaze roster.
Oh yeah, definitely. There are a lot of rosters that are also looking very, very scary. And as we're looking at our bracket right now, we're seeing the competition step up in just a bit. This is like the point of no return in the competition, because now we have our eliminations and we have a lot of teams that put their cards forward, Bea.
Yeah, I am extremely excited by the upper games that we have, the G2 versus MIBR. The showing that we have from MIBR. But that second one, the Shipto versus Shopify, I think people that do not know the story or have not been seeing Shipto that much this year do not know how much of a treat that is. It's probably going to be one of the top 3, if not top 1 matches that we're going to have in Game Changers.
I mean, as a Southeast Asian, it's really freezing in Berlin, but you're making me sweat with that match, okay? You are making me sweat quite a lot. There are a lot of interesting matches to look out for. But first, we're going to head over into today's Mastercard fan poll. We want to know which team you believe will make a lower bracket run here. Is it going to be Zeta? Is it going to be FlyQuest, ALG, or is it going to be Giant X? Do you know how much copium I'm on right now?
Yeah, it's a tough set of teams as well. You know, I want to believe in someone like GX. I think MIBR came out swinging. They had a really good game. And I think GX will be able to make those adjustments and push a little bit further.
Yeah, I think also that they didn't have a lot of time. I think that Miuri had just landed the previous night. They didn't have a lot of time to practice. And it's so important. I think that we saw it yesterday with G2 Gosen and how they were playing on the stage, that maybe that warm-up is necessary. And to go up against an opponent like MIBR this year, it's a tough cookie. But also FlyQuest playing today, like, you know, them having to play the 2 new maps and everything on their opening game, I can understand that loss. And I can see them making a lower bracket run.
There's a lot of first day jitters that a lot of teams had to kind of shake off, right? But that's not going to be the case for today. We are now going to be down to 8 teams after this day. First up for our schedule, we have Zeta versus FlyQuest Red, and then we have ALG versus Giant X coming right up. These are matches that, I don't know. Mitch, would you say that these matches are one-sided, potentially?
Well, maybe coming into the tournament, I might have had that opinion. With some of the results, I mean, ALG have been a little bit shaky, although they've been up against some crazy comps. But there's going to be a couple of curveballs for some of these teams coming into today, and then the standard power rankings don't really hold up as well. I think we should have some close games here today.
Well, I told you guys I'm on a lot of copium today. A lot of copium, especially since, you know,
is yours?
we have Zeta versus FlyQuest. I brought this all the way from the Philippines.
That's why it took you so long.
Exactly.
Exactly.
How did you get this through the airport?
I know. I know it took a while, but it's worth it because it is time to play Truth or Cope. And here's how it goes. I'm going to make some statements, and we're going to see, we're going to get a very honest answer from the analyst desk, whether it is indeed truth or cope. So let's get right into it. Let's go
I feel
into
the signs keep getting bigger. It's like that. Is that scary movie meme with the hat getting bigger? And I feel like we always get bigger signs.
This is like,
Yeah.
I could probably hide between these signs. I mean, I'm going to disappear. I'm that tiny. It's like, whoa, where did you go? But let's get right into it. Let's have our first statement for truth or cope. Let's bring it onto your screens right now and see what our analysts have to say.
The best Neon player will also be the Game Changing Champions' MVP.
Yeah, okay. I'll give it to you.
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I'm going with the truth because I think Fluorescent's the best in both worlds.
I also think that this is really a really hard fact to counter, just because there's so much, there's so much hype on the Neon right now.
Yes.
Everybody is asking for the Neon to be nerfed. It's pretty hard not to put up the numbers when you're on this agent.
Exactly. Maybe hype is not the right word. I think that if you're playing it, you're having the time of your life. And it's very difficult for the teams that are coming into the tournament from the smaller regions or they're not as competitive as the others to be playing against this kind of teams that have been having a lot of time and a lot of good tests of how far you can take this agent in the form that it is right now.
And I mean, look, maybe I should change mine around, though, because, okay, Falcons had a tough game, but I'm starting to believe maybe the MVP is going to be a deadlock if Mad V keeps playing the way she is, or ISO.
Yes.
So,
yes.
yeah, maybe I'm not thinking that anymore. Neon's broken, but Mad V's even more broken.
I see you. Do you need
Mary
some
some
copium,
time.
by the way? Do you need some copium?
I guess I do.
You wanna have some?
You do
Hit
need
me
some
with it.
copium if you're gonna go.
This is
to
my
that
reward?
Such a bad
This is
idea.
your reward.
Oh, it's Mad V all the way. It's Mad V all the way.
Let's move on to our next statement. After that,
We have more? Okay.
We have more. No,
Okay.
we have more. So the next
I don't know
statement,
if I'm ready to go.
FlyQuest is going to make a lower bracket run to the grand final. Is this truth or is this cope?
I think I'm going to go with the truth again. Do you think it's cope? I
Yeah.
think that arguments can be made for some of the teams. I think that Zeta, even though lost in a 0-2 fashion, it still was a 13-9. Like, we saw some glimmers of things that can go very good for them. But if I can make excuses for one of the teams in the lower bracket, it is for FlyQuest. So I can see them achieving that.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I think that the performance so far just hasn't really been there. Looking at the power levels you have from some other teams coming in, I just think the competition's too hot.
I totally agree with you, Mitch. I totally agree with you, and that's why I'm also gonna have to go with cope on this one. I mean, you have G2, you have SR, you have Sipto as well, so it's gonna be pretty tough. But that means I gotta go get some copium over here. I'm gonna get some copium. We're actually sharing the
Do you
same
want me to
thing.
open this for you?
Yes, please.
Oh, God.
I need some copium. Also because I am hoping that it is one of the Pacific teams, but that's another story. That's why I brought this here.
Well, Chipta will not need to make a lower bracket run because they'll have an upper bracket run.
That's my girl. That's my girl. There you go. Let's move over to our final truth or cope statement. Bring it onto your screens right now. At least one of ALG or Zeta will win today.
I don't think there's enough oxygen or sorry, the copium in this tank for me to believe otherwise. Not because I am extremely EMEA pilled and based, and I think that Giant X are... Yeah, please.
I'm just gonna.
Do I use this as
Yeah,
a mic, even
sure.
though I'm already mic'd up?
Oh, sure. You can go ahead and do that.
It gives a little bit of an echo. Yeah, I think it's going to be extremely difficult. I think that they, especially on the case of ALG, for Zeta, I can see it happening. But for ALG, I can see this as a learning experience, and we will see them again in the future, and we will be very happy of everything that they've learned here.
I kind of just want to get all of the
You want some?
cope
Yeah.
right here because I'm just gonna go for my. Come on, Ginny and Muffin are tied, so I
Okay.
claim them from like Pacific and Southeast Asia as well. So we're just gonna host this way as well. Mitch, what about you? Search your feelings.
I don't even think it's close to cope. Yeah, Zeta are going to take it across the line today. They've looked good. The reads, the adaptations, I'm not even touching it. It's not cope. It's just a fact. The way they played that first series.
I want to see you in.
The way they played that first series, I have full faith. Like the reads, they were up against a tough comp. They made the reads correctly, made the adjustments. I think they'll go all the way.
Well, that's it.
Didn't
That
mind me.
is. Oh, sure. Give Dan some.
Yeah.
Give Dan some over here. Like
Exactly. There you go.
you might need it. You might need it. After
This is correct, yeah.
after these statements, yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
that
very
penguin's
much
going to
for
learn how to fly.
that. And it's good that you brought that up because Zeta, they are a team that I feel like hasn't unlocked their potential just yet. We're going to get right into it and discuss our first match and talk about Zeta Division. They had to take the first stage first against a very powerful team. It was going to be Visa Crew Blaze, which I feel like they had a little bit of that first stage jitters. They had a little bit of that shock. However, it is an elimination match. There is that pressure coming in now, but this is also Zeta fully warmed up for this stage.
Yeah, exactly. And even though, as I said, it was a loss, 13-9, getting 3 out of the 4 pistols, I think says a lot about Zeta. And also facing up against the powerhouses that we were seeing in the side of Crew. Looking at their press conference, they were talking about how difficult it was for them to play against dots. Because yes, it's going to be fast. Of course, there was also a double duelist on Bind, but they didn't have the time to adapt on the fly. And of course, today is going to be the same challenge, but now they know what their biggest enemy is.
Yeah, I mean, you mentioned the double duelist, what Neon Yoru, they swapped out for a Sky as well. Very in-your-face composition. The Crew were running up against Zeta. Zeta, as I said, they made the right reads. They realized this is a team that on defense, they're going to have to go for aggression. They're going to have to run down these angles. So they waited back. And then that led to constant over-rotations by Crew. It's why the scoreline was so close on map 1. And then map 2, mirror matchup, and they still keep it 13-9, neck and neck. That kind of performance, it really inspires me they'll be able to go far in this tournament.
Well, ahead of today's elimination match, Yinsu did catch up with Suzu for a quick word. Let's check it out.
I'm now standing by with Suzu and Kohei to do some translation as well ahead of this elimination game. Now, you guys have a lot of options when it comes to the IGLing role. So I wanted to ask you, who is going to be IGLing today and how is that decision made?
Zeta Division では IGL ができる選手が何人かいると思うんですけれども、今回の大会では誰が IGL をしていて、それはどのように決めているのか教えてください。
今大会では自分が IGL をやることになりました。どのようにして決めているかについてはちょっと企業秘密ということでお願いします。
So this tournament, I've been IGLing, and about how we decide on the IGLing, it's a top secret.
Oh, okay. Thank you very much for joining me and good luck today.
It is a top secret. That's pretty surprising. I mean, I wouldn't say it's like not too surprising that it is a secret because ever since Pacific, I mean, we had, for a time, UR, I believe, was the IGL, and then it was Akko over in Pacific. Now they're throwing it over to Suzu. But I think this is the one that makes sense, especially since Suzu is one of the most experienced players that they have here, Bea.
Yeah, exactly. It's the experience, and maybe it has to do with the compositions that they play, maybe the maps, maybe the vibe that they're getting, maybe depending on the overall plan, on the macros ideas, on the maps they decide to, or where they position on the map, they decide to give the role to one or the other. But that Suzu is always going to be one of the most reliable ones.
Oh, absolutely. I think looking at the roster, obviously with experience, you're seeing it here back on Fennel. It was Suzu who's been on that international stage before, and that is often just where you're going to look to for leadership, someone who's been there, done that, and can help bring some of the other players through it. But it's good to have those other elements, having 1 or 2 other players who can provide secondary calls. I think we look at things in a very black and white way sometimes, and just because you're the one saying, I am the IGL, when you listen to those comms, there's always going to be contributions from your teammates, and I think having that extra depth to your IGL bench is huge for this squad. The only concern really, we look at Suzu's been here before on Fennel, yes. Well, actually in the same matchup down in the lower bracket, and they went out here, but there's been a great showing in that opening up against Crew who've challenged other teams. Hopefully it won't be the same this time.
It doesn't matter. Do not listen to what Mitch said, because his hot take was that G2 was going to win everything without dropping a single map, and they lost the first map that they played. So just bear in mind that this is the person that is talking to you. Okay, you got it.
He's not even here. He's not even here, actually.
Yeah, I felt like that was intentional from G2. They heard me and they said, let's throw a map away.
We're going to think that I actually hate you.
You don't?
I do.
But you know what, Zeta, I don't think they're going to feel that way with you, especially since, like, as you mentioned, throwing the IGL role around might have its advantages, right? Because you also have strong players like Akko and like Moko as well, who, do step up for the team. The Akko Moko Don, like the community likes to call them, right? Especially from the Japanese players. And we have to talk about Moko's performance as well, because she is definitely one of those anchors on the team that can turn around.
Yeah, I mean, I like that we're seeing a lot of Ascent footage as well, because this is really where Moko, you can pretty much pick your map. I mean, she is doing the heavy lifting on almost every single one of them. But certainly if you go back 2 or 3 games on each map, that's a fact. But looking at this map in particular, the KO from Akko has been incredible for getting them that early information, a big factor on how they're able to make those rotations, be ahead of their opponents. But Moko putting up these numbers consistently on that smoke roll primarily is a backbone of this team.
Yes, they knew, and as I said, they were struggling with the pacing the crew was bringing in. But Akko and Moko were like Jet Set, Bonnie and Clyde, like them two playing within the side, or as we were seeing it in the B-roll, the way that Moko was able to keep her cool, because it was the nerfs. Again, on that press conference is all that they talked about, that maybe the stage was a little bit too intimidating for them, and also Ryota could not find the key of what to tell his players to just calm down a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, again, there are a lot of players on Zeta that are like that, right? They're able to stand up. My personal favorite actually has to be UR, not just because her name is just so fun for casters to say, which by the way she did intentionally, but ahead of Game Changers Champs, Uber actually sat down with Zeta's UR to talk about the competition as well as one of her favorite hobbies. Let's check it out.
While we are in the thick of things here at the Game Changers Championship, we're also taking the time to get to know some of our competitors. And I'm very lucky to be joined here by Zeta Division's UR, who not only, of course, is a huge impact out there in-game, but has created some fantastic artwork. And we've got the chance to talk about some of that and get to know her a little bit better. First of all, UR, thank you for joining us. Great to have you here. For those that are now meeting you for the first time, would you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Zeta Division 所属の UA です。
My name is Yua from Zeta Division.
Great to have you here. Now, I have seen on X a little bit, and of course now behind me some wonderful pieces of art. They look fantastic. I'd like to know what kind of, inspired you to begin making this art. How did your career as an artist begin?
小学校とか中学校の時に休み時間にノートに書いたりして絵を描き始めました。
While I was still in elementary school, during the recess, I drew on my notebook.
Fantastic. Yeah, that's definitely one way to start, no doubt about it. What kind of things do you like to draw? We have obviously a lot of characters here from Valorant as well. I love the plane wing one. Is this the kind of thing that you normally like to draw, or are there other scenes you like to create?
まあ自分の好きなゲームとかアニメとかのキャラをよく描いていて、まあそういうなんか二次元のものが多いです。
I tend to draw something that I like, whether that's anime or some character from the games I play.
Yeah. Obviously, everyone has their own reasons for creating, whether it's art or music or something else. What motivates you to create works like these?
まあそのやっぱりアニメを見てたりとかゲームをしてたりした時に、このキャラ可愛いなとかかっこいいなってなったら、なんか自分の絵で描きたくなるので、そういう感じです。
So when I'm watching anime or playing games and find a character that I really like, think it's really cool or cute, I really want to recreate it myself with my work.
Yeah, in your own style too, which looks amazing. Let's talk a little bit about this week. You're representing your Pacific region here as part of Zeta Division. What inspired you to start competing in Valorant?
まあゲームをプレイするのが好きで、強くなりたいなって思って、まあチームに入ったのがきっかけなんですけど、まあもっと上を目指していきたいなってなって、まあゼータに入って大会に出たっていう感じですか。
So I always loved playing games, and I wanted to get better. So that's why I came into competitive playing, and really wanted to even get better and that's when I joined Zeta Division.
Well, you are. Thank you for the opportunity to get to know you, and I know we can't wait to see what you are and the rest of Zeta Division do with the canvas out there in a game. Let's jump back into it.
You are so talented.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
No, but she is very talented. It's not only, she's already warming up. Maybe getting some lineups. Maybe she spotted something in the studio here in the audience that she wants.
Like all the way into this, gonna hit here. That's where the lineup is.
No, but I really like the way that she was playing the other day. I think that especially on bind, the awareness that she was able to have, even though she was, with all the aggression that was coming in from the double duelist, her composure to know that aggression is going to be happening, and for her to keep the default and even find those kills onto crew actually speaks a lot about her as a player.
Yeah, and at what stage are we going to see things like maybe let her draw one of the sprays in the game? I mean, those are some incredible drawings.
That would be amazing. I was
saying,
gonna say,
I'll buy
honestly,
the bundle.
I think everybody loves Zeta. I think we just do it. Whatever happens.
I actually want a UR sticker pack of her illustrations. That would be amazing.
Oh, yeah, that would be really cool.
Right?
Yeah,
that
that's
would be
a play.
so good. She is incredibly talented. Yeah, why not? Why not? But we're going to move over to their opponent's FlyQuest, where we have a very important update. Sonder is unfortunately feeling unwell today, and Lace will sub in for her against Zeta. This is going to be very interesting because, of course, we expect that these players have their game plan for this tournament. How is this going to change things up?
I mean, the good thing is that Lace is no stranger to this roster. I think everybody was expecting a little bit of that Sonder time, but this is the perfect substitute for this FlyQuest roster because she has already played with them for Seicho and most of the year, and she's an extremely flexible player. Yes, she had been playing smokes with them, but her initiating agents are what defines her the most.
Yeah, and I think there's other players like Dodo who had a fantastic map looking back at Sunset in their series yesterday that we can look to fill in those gaps, but you really can't sugarcoat it. It's a tough loss to lose a player, especially when so pivotal to your plan of Sonder the day before a game.
Yeah, exactly. When we talk about the Phoenix or that little bit of spice that FlyQuest would bring in, Sonder is a very important part of that. But again, with Lace being the flexible player that she is, and with the experience, there is no better fix for this.
Yeah, and I actually feel, I feel for FlyQuest here, especially since they had, a little bit of momentum going on. Yes, they lost to Zipto, but, they did go the distance with Zipto, right, in their opening match. Unfortunately, it did fall into overtime as well, which means that they were getting that bearings. Now they kind of have to start from zero again with Lace coming in.
Again, I'm going to draw the comparison to what happened to G2 Gosen at the beginning of their match yesterday. Yes, there were a lot of nerves. Think about this, right? You go into Pearl, new map coming in, right? Well, back in the pool, against a team that you have not played against in the past. The compositions not being able to securing a gun run in the first half until the last round because everything is going in their way and they know exactly where they want to take you. Then you take your map pick there onto Sunset with a new composition, and then you close up on the other new map that we have in the pool, returning map on a very, very close overtime.
Yeah, I mean, it was 9-6 at one point, and they were facing into pistols. Zipto only had a couple sheriffs. There was also a player advantage swinging their way, and FlyQuest got a little bit antsy. They wanted to close the round here and now rather than wait for the flood back out. Led to one player taking their eye off a choke angle, and the player walked out there at just the right time. Took him down with the sheriff. It's a small mistake, and it's nerves. It's that little bit of like, oh, they're on their way. I have an ult. I can pop it here. I can use this. And then that just tumbles the round away. And now with the sub coming in as well, you're going to have an extra voice who also has to be feeling a lot of pressure. It's one thing to come here as a team, to make it together, win together, lose together. But now you're the sub, all eyes are going to be on you. And a lot of the time we've seen it. Yeah. And you don't get that much credit when you win, but when you lose, people are very quick to point fingers.
Yeah, it's a lot of pressure to deal with, right? But, Theia, she actually did tweet that FlyQuest, they love a lower bracket run. So, hey, maybe this is for them. Speaking of which, let's send it back to Yinsu and hear from FlyQuest's Theia. Let's see what she has to say.
We have a big elimination match coming up today, and we also just received some big news as well. I'm now joined by Theia from FlyQuest. Now, we know that Sonder will not be playing today. Lace will be stepping in. So how much does that impact your game plan coming into this game?
I don't think it'll impact our game plan too much. Obviously, Sonder is an absolutely amazing player, but Lace has been filling for us for like a long time, like just in the server, like always watching our scrims and everything as a sub. So she knows exactly like what the game plan is, and she has amazing mid-round comps to pick up what Diana would have.
Yeah, and for those people that don't really aren't very familiar with Lace, what kind of role can we expect her to play today? Is this a 1-for-1 with Sonder?
we'll see. We'll see what Lace is gonna play. We might pull a few tricks out of the bag. But yeah, Lace is an absolutely amazing player. She could literally play any single role, and she'd probably be better than you at it. So I'm really excited for her to be on this stage because she does deserve it.
I can't wait to see it. Good luck today.
Well, it looks as though Theia is saying not only is Lace incredibly flexible, but it's like she never even left. So it is the perfect sub coming in here for FlyQuest Red. We are expecting with that maybe there aren't any changes, and this is probably going to go the way of FlyQuest.
I want to see now where the map veto is going to be taking us, because of course they knew this is taken into consideration. And as we say, it's elimination. So I want to see maybe some twists and turns. I would love, honestly, to be seeing her playing on the Phoenix. Why not?
Yeah, oh, you think maybe we get a Pearl out? You think it will be the one-to-one swap?
Who knows?
It's maybe ambitious. We were looking at the stats earlier, which she's played one time a Phoenix, 2 times a Reyna, I think one a Yoru as well. So I'm not certain that it will be quite the easy solution in those maps.
Well, before we start talking agent comps, we spoke to Dodo about what went wrong in this OMEN player moment against Sipto Esports.
Hi, my name is Dodonut. I play for FlyQuest Red, and I'm the duelist. Honestly, I'm not too bummed out losing to Sipto. First map was definitely slow. We were just kind of getting warmed, and that was my first match ever on international stage. And second map, we did everything we were supposed to do. We played like how we do in scrims. And I think third map, we kind of stepped foot off the gas a little, and we were just losing to ourselves. Minor stuff.
FlyQuest straight up middle, getting rid of that. Zipto then on the other side of things, looking to get aggressive, looking for information.
I didn't come into this tournament with much expectation. I think as a team, we're just trying to have fun and play our best. I feel like playing and having fun is the key, because if you're too focused and just too stressed out, you're just gonna like stress yourself out and make more mistakes. In scrims, we have fun when we win, and even when we're losing, we're still having fun. But I think when we're not having fun, we start to go quiet, and that will affect our gameplay a lot. But we're just gonna have fun. We have to have fun in game to win.
Well, now we are minutes away from Agent Select, so now we can talk about Agent Comps. Mitch, now we can look back at the comp that Zeta had to face against Crew on Bind specifically.
Yes, indeed we can. And, you know, it's fair to say, despite it being a close game as well, 13-9, I thought on power rankings alone that this would be a quick and easy one against the side of Zeta. Then they came up against this composition. I was on the desk and I said, well, this one's done. You know, this is a situation where Visa Crew Blaze have come in and said, we are better. We are a better squad. We're going to bring the Yoru. We're going to bring the Neon. The Neon certainly worked. I think it was like 31-17. And then even swapped out a Fade for a Sky just to make sure there was that bit more in-your-face utility for them to work with. And Zeta adapted to it perfectly. They played back, they let their opponents come to them and put them on the back foot with this crazy composition. That was a great adaptation that I didn't expect to see, and they were able to hold their own individually.
Well, that's the thing with Zeta, right? Even though their compositions might not be as adventurous, maybe not as experimental, you can't count them out ever. They were also known in Pacific as that comeback team, right? Even though, you know, they had some struggle closing out certain maps, certain rounds, you couldn't ever count them out. Not even if the score was vastly in favor of their opponents.
Yeah, exactly. I think that there was a lot put on the table. Again, you're going up against Dots, and she had a very, very strong start of the matchup, and it's very difficult to adapt on the fly. Plus, it was the first time on a stage for most of the players in Zeta. So again, we can make those kind of excuses because they themselves said that the pressure was getting the best out of them, and in these situations, right, like, that is what you need to focus on for today's matchup, because of course, you know, these compositions will happen again and will happen throughout the entire tournament.
Entire tournament indeed. But first, it's time for the results of our Mastercard fan poll. Earlier, we asked you which team has the best shot at making a lower bracket run, and everybody thinks it is indeed going to be FlyQuest Red, agreeing with Theia there with what she tweeted out earlier. They love lower bracket runs. This is their turf.
Shout out to the 8.6% of people who are right.
Shout out to you guys. And before we begin our match, I want to know your predictions without the copium, without everything else. So, AD, what do you have for us? Let's see for like the whole broadcast team, in fact, all of our predictions. Whoa,
Okay,
what do you have for me? Oh, okay, I'm not alone. and Zeta.
I'm with you. I'm with you. We got, yeah, there's quite a number coming out for Zeta as
You
well.
needed to see what you put in there before you actually agreed with me.
Oh, no, I've been talking about Zeta all day. I didn't even check for the
that's fair,
second
that's
game.
fair.
I wasn't sure.
Victoria's taking the tank. Victoria's tanking this one. She has.
Oh, so am I. So
Yeah,
we have
you
to do
both
it.
are.
We have to do it for
Yeah.
Ginny and for Muffin. But hey, who knows, right? That could be very, very interesting. So we do have, of course, our favorites in this match, and we do have, I'm so prepared to be surprised with this, especially since you have last-minute subs coming in as well. Yes. Who knows what you're gonna expect?
Again, for the teams, if those most of predictions go right, and we have the EMEA and NA moving through, this is a huge learning experience for the other teams.
Massive indeed. But let's get the show started. Today, 4 teams will be taking the stage, but only 2 can move forward in the competition. It's day 3 of Game Changers Championship 2024 here in Berlin, and it starts right now.
You could say that it was an upset the first time, but Zipto have FlyQuest Red's number.
After the first series, my first stage experience, we learned a lot. I'm gonna bring that into the next one, and we're gonna be great.
Zeta played some fantastic rounds, but how can you overcome those big swing rounds?
今日までは全然緊張してなかったんですけど、ステージ上に立って初めてプレッシャーとか緊張とかが実感したので、次の試合はその緊張を克服できるように頑張ります。プライ戦ではどっちかが負けたら敗退になってしまうので、みんなちゃんと本気を出して全力で挑みたいです。次の試合はやっております。
They have some strong players, but fundamentally, we're still better. As long as we play our game, we're gonna win.
Let's tries, but try as she might, MIBR hitting a little different. GX couldn't find their form there at all.
I know it's like do or die situation, but I don't see that way. We are sad that we lost, but we know it's not the end. It's definitely an invitation to learn, because when you lose, you do more mistakes. You fix that and you move on.
ALG first game on the big stage, end up falling.
就是对于下一场比赛来说，我觉得我们最重要的是能够克服自己的紧张吧。我觉得如果能够克服这个困难，我们的表现肯定会不只是好上一点。它这个游戏它真的给我带来很多，因为可能我性格本身不是一个非常渴望胜利的人，但是它激发了我的另一面。
Pressure doesn't bother me. We are used to it. Just don't give up and show ourselves.
Try next， 祝你们好运。
Ugly out here.
You have such experienced names ready to prove that they belong here. They cannot go home this early. And for Zeta, the pride of an entire region on their shoulders. All of the Japanese fans have their hopes on this roster. Who's it gonna be?
Yeah, and as we see, take a look at the map, Vito. Haven, Sunset, and Ascend. Zeta's going to keep that Pearl band that we saw the other day and actually maybe do in FlyQuest a little bit of a favor. Sunset, for example, you know, it catches my eye because I remember Sunset's utility being so important here, but we know that Lace is up for this challenge and she's going to crush it.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see when we move on to Ascent to finish it off as well, how last time around, Suzu, we'll talk about as the IGL, we'll talk about as a duelist, but we had a lot of praise for Dodds on crew. Suzu was able to shut Dodds down on Ascent. That was somewhere that she had commanding lead over early duels, constantly putting numbers up for her team. And I think if we go all the way, Zeta have a really good chance of taking it on map 3.
Yeah, exactly, but let's think about that map number 1, right? That Haven, because it is not one of the preferred maps, let's say, for either of the two teams, right? We see a FlyQuest that has not played it that much, has actually tried to dodge it as much as possible throughout the last bit of Game Changers in Series 3. And again, we expect a little bit of the adaptation, of the changes. We also were talking this past 2 days on some of the changes that have been made to the agents.
And I like that you brought that up because for Zeta, they've only played Haven twice this year. So this is a big question mark. It's like, are you sure you want to do this? But right now, jumping into our agent select, what are you guys thinking of these compositions?
I mean, I see no Phoenix, right? But I love to see the Neon. We were talking about it throughout the pre-show and how strong and important she is. I'm surprised to see also that they're going to move away from the Asterix. I think that Theia was brilliant on the agent. And I think that the combination between Breach and Neon is going to be an absolute menace. And somehow we ended up with a mirror matchup.
Well, we are ready for map 1 of this elimination match, and it is time to send it over to your casters. Here's Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, Mika and the desk. To call this a big match would be an understatement. For one of these teams, this match represents the start of a lower bracket run, but for the other, it's the end of the line. And for FlyQuest Red Wine, a late substitution as Lace comes into the lineup.
Yeah, Sander, unfortunately, under the weather, has to step out today. A Sander who in GC3, leading into this tournament, had her best showing ever. Statistically cleared the last 10 GC tournaments that she was in. But cannot understate how much I respect Lace as a player. I believe she is one of the top 2 in GCNA and actually had to go out earlier this year for an injury of her own. But coming back now, they are going to have that inherent team play with the rest of the squad.
FlyQuest Red starting on the attack side here, folks. It's Haven for our first map. We see a push up here from the defenders on that C side. They're going to get plenty of information. UR though forced to back away, and already, oh buddy, Dodo Nut strikes. UR couldn't pull herself off the side in time.
They're not going to have that recon now for the retake or Zeta. Dangerous and a deep lurk from Starbound. Still over towards B, about to have an engagement. Finds one as well, drawing attention.
About to get busy for Starbound up mid though. Suzu slides on in, and now Zeta Division have an access point to the A side. But they are going to have to come for a full retake against 4.
Moko does have a paranoia at the very least.
See the fault line being lined up here for Lace though. Plenty of that breach util to work with. It's going to make it hard for Zeta to get in, but they've got to go for it. Serena out in front here. They're going to try and play up the paranoia. It's a perfect connection. 2 players, and yet Dodo Nut is able to strike them down. Lace deals with Moko comfortably enough. FlyQuest are off to quite the start.
And Dodo Nut off to a hot start. Crucially, Dodo Nut, just speaking a bit heading into this about GC3, Fly had a bit of a downturn after almost being Shopify earlier in the year in a BO5. Dodo Nut has always been one of the top duelists that we've got in the NA scene. And now looking rejuvenated on the Neon, which they're picking up just for this tournament.
So Zeta stack C. They don't make the right call, they have to rotate in late. That's the pistol out of the way. Dodo Nut's already gone up to a Guardian though.
And looking at the map, we're seeing from Zeta on the opposite side, A, which something we'll see a lot of from both teams. A lobby control using the breach and the Neon. Of course, they are just gamble stacking here too on the anti-eco. Fly are going to get this free C site.
Serendipity that Lace is with FlyQuest out here in Berlin. As she sort of says on X, she's been involved a bit of the assistant coaching, been around, and also spent some time in that UC Irvine roster out there in California. So very much still primed and ready to jump into a big game like this. Dodo will just hold for contact here. Sees one cross. Lace is going to be good for it as Arco tries to slip through the net here. But Zeta Division will be put to an utter halt. Now one through spawn, one through C long.
At this point, they should just let Dodo find another kill. We'll have the overdrive already. Isn't going to happen. Could still contest for an orb early on to this third round, though. Dangerous ultimate to have in the hands of Dodo, who is already on fire, continuing the momentum from yesterday. Despite losing that series, on Sunset, dropped 26 kills, dominant performance.
Yeah, and this is someone, Dodo, who goes a little bit quiet in that, GC3. It's really Sonda that has to step up on FlyQuest Red to get them into this position. And she says that was her first land showing, right? In that previous game for FlyQuest. She has pretty low expectations, already surely surpassed them. Looking great here on Haven.
Cover going down. Fly opting for some fast A control now on what is a pure bonus. Getting into long.
They've got Suez as well, Wyatt. Just a camera passively watching it for Zeta.
Yeah, this is Zeta again, playing this retake setup similarly to how they did on the pistol. This time, though, just not pushing all the way through C long. Obviously, this comp offers a lot.
Free damage there for UR. Shock dart thrown to the plant site. Ev almost needs a second one. And now Zeta are set up. 3 players over towards Heaven. Paranoia comes through. Dodo not affected by it. 2 players drop. Dodo is ready. Ev and Theia also get involved. Suzu has to push up on the site, but still nothing doing for Zeta.
This comp also excels at just stuffing the retakers in the choke. That is the dynamic. It's great for getting back in, but that fault line that you eat in main, and when you're trying to get out of Heaven, crossfire setup in the site, nicely from Fly again. Textbook stuff. They're playing very well here early on.
Here's the problem with playing retake. You're a team like Zeta Division. You prefer to give up the map, right? You're not an aggressive team fundamentally. But having to play retake on Haven, time and time again, it's going to be really hard to eke out advantages.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you mentioned, though, they really are playing to their style. And what we've seen them excel at, which is big set pieces.
Play together.
Pre-planned things that they can just work together on in scrims, offline, the things that they can really get down in a textbook regimen.
They can dry run a lot, right?
Yeah, a lot of dry runs, right?
FlyQuest, though, maybe showing Zeta that playing for retake isn't a sustainable approach to the game. This isn't the kind of round where we're going to see a big mix-up from Zeta, but in the future they might have to play ahead of these sites. Still, that trip is still up. Shock Dart doesn't end up clearing it. Dodo is going to end up eating it now, pushing to the site with a relay bolt. Down to 44 already, though. Fault line comes in through the direction, and Moko is going to emerge from Garage. Finds just one for now. Suzy tries to stand her ground on the side, but Arco's also going to be bowled over. And Zeta with the weaker weaponry don't have much of a say in this argument until UR finds 3. Almost, but not quite. Theia's able to close the round.
Outrageous from UR. Certainly a standout in Zeta's series that they had against Crew. And that will get the Hunter's Fury activated now into a critical round as the FlyQuest economy has just gotten out of control, stringing 4 together, including that bonus where they barely lost a thing. Recovered the rifles of Zeta. They needed a bit of damage here. They got that as well. Jovi is so hyped up already. A coach that is not lacking in experience. A long tenure with 100 Thieves, all the way back to 2021, I believe, has been doing this for a minute.
4 rounds for FlyQuest here. Zeta now with rifles in hand. And again, look to be more proactive on the A side of the map, but unfortunately they've made the wrong stack decision. We're headed over to C, folks, and Dodo will be at the 4. Paranoia did come through. I think there might have been a team flash there from Theia, but still, FlyQuest have the site.
Due to those UR kills mentioned before, there is that Hunter's Fury, an opportunity to, well, it looks like just trying to find one. Not really a tool being used to re-enter the site, but there it is.
Dodo has the opportunity here to go for that overdrive. Still no plant. It's come down now. Fast lane going to be used. Ev tries to get ahead of it there. Takes a trade. UR gets him, but Starbound sat on that site. They are mowing Zeta Division down. It's the 3rd for Starbound, and Arco has a flash to work with. At least gets the kill and sets up the 1 versus 1, but Lace will have gone back towards C long. In a safe post-plant position with a fault line to work with.
The substitute already in a high-pressure situation early in the game, but Lace so talented.
There it is. Okay. I like the fact that after shock there for Arco, and she knows exactly where to put it, but Lace is happy to take the fight.
I do like how Zeta played that round, though. That Hunter's Fury delaying the plant allowed all of those stacked players on A to make their way over. So when the tap did come in, they can just flood off of that utility. And that is a really crucial timing window playing against this mirror match. Because while it does excel at retakes, in those situations like we saw earlier on A, when the attacking stuns are in play to stop the defending retake at the choke, you can't just get bogged down. You can just lose. Your re-entry utility isn't good enough. But on that timing window, Zeta can find some success. They just need to stay fearless in those moments, very proactive.
And this is what they want to play for. It's been made very clear they're about those retakes. So the question remains now, this time out, what is getting ironed out? Is it a directive to maybe try and push up, go for some trap plays early in the round, play more aggressively for information? Or just nail down the retake protocols a little more? Because, hey, we've been close. Zeta are definitely keeping a lid on this FlyQuest economy. Having them emerge from rounds with only one gun definitely helps, but they need to get on the board, Wyatt.
I do feel at this point that Zeta on some of these rounds are overcommitting maybe just one player too many on some of these early round control plays towards A.
Leaves them really thin elsewhere, right?
It absolutely does, and then it's tough to get there in time to rotate for a flood. They could do that that time because of the Hunter's Fury, but without an ultimate like that, they will just be put in a full retake position. And you really, frankly, don't need that many players to control A main when you've got the Neon Breach. You could just get a recon in there, have that extra util, dark cover thrown from anywhere, really. And there is that dark cover thrown actually from Garage. You know, the OMEN doesn't necessarily have to be playing with them. This is just a Sheriff buy, however, for Zeta.
Turnaround is more than having to take the fight. Suzu gets aggressive behind the fast lane. Very, very deep here, but can she convert this? No, Starbound is waiting. But Arco, in the meantime, finds an aftershock kill, and Lace tries to just crouch down and find the kill. Arco wins it out. These Sheriffs really going to work, singing in the hands of Zeta Division, and they've got a 3 versus 1 to work with.
And that is a fantastic shock dart from Ev, who stepped into this roster to actually replace Lace, which she was injured back in stage 2. Massive shoes to fill, first LAN event. And what an opportunity for a clutch this could be. Zeta with that lovely proactive trap play in mid, all that util coming out, the wave of it that just caught Fly completely off guard in that transitional moment where they were walking from grass trying to gain control.
They play off Suzu's space created so well. Suzu obviously gets a little bit turned upside down as she gets accosted by Starbound, but Zeta still convert.
And obviously this round of the utmost importance for Zeta to win. Akko has the Rolling Thunder, should just commit it to lock this thing up.
Ev is still hidden. They're sitting in the back of the side here, but UR swings it. That is sharp.
And similarly to that match against Crew, early on, it was UR making the impactful individual plays that kept them in that game. So when things started rolling, when the big team play success came in, they already had at least a few rounds to play with. The deficit wasn't too bad. That was a great play out of the timeout.
And UR as well goes for that sort of exploration through sewer. Ends up being in the right place at the right time. Beautiful turnaround on that Thrifty.
Devious giggles. And look, this is the round that the Zeta coach was actually prepping for, the one where they have just a ton of ultimates to work with. Nice that your little eco round strat works out so nicely.
This time now might be a fast hit for FlyQuest as they look to get into a long. Moko playing up close. They've actually pushed forward here. They get brought down. UR also coming forward now, and before Starbound gets the ping, UR's upon them. Now it's up to Arco, and yep, she's not going to stop moving for anyone. I think she realizes that FlyQuest have snuck this one over to C.
Interesting to see, honestly, out of the timeout that Zeta had 2 big aggressive strats to come out with. This one unfortunately not working. Arco would have to come up with a huge clutch here. That dark cover should just certify the FlyQuest win. No hope in a position like that.
And for what we've seen from Zeta Division, this is not stylistically typical of them. They are trying to mix in some of these aggressive plays, and we saw them try this against Zipto as well in that Pacific game. Doesn't go so well this round as FlyQuest are kind of ready for it.
They do, yeah, they will have these big set pieces like this. It's more of the casual aggression that I feel that they're often lacking. Do
you want to see some more passive aggressiveness?
That's not particularly.
Okay.
That is something that they don't often go for. Those kind of moments were working a lot more often for them regionally, and occasionally against Zipto in the Pacific qualifier as well.
Ooh, relay bolt again catches UR. That gives round 1 vibes.
UR with a hero rifle on this site, but connected onto the Rolling Thunder rifle. And useless.
They know. And that's 2 kills coming out of Suzu here. Zeta are going to be forced, like it or not, into a retake scenario. They're trying to get ahead of this dark cover, but Lace just sprays through. Here's the relay bolt slide out there from Suzu. It's only good for 1. And Zeta have been unable to string multiple rounds together. Their economy suffering as a result.
FlyQuest are looking inspired today. Genuinely playing so well off of each other, off of the utility. Really the standout aspect for me right now is the team play. Covering all of these angles together, so effective at the scaling as a unit. They're not leaving each other to really get caught in these situations out on their lonesome. Fundamentals are looking rock solid.
That breach util from Lace, absolutely filthy.
Now, Lace also brings the good vibes,
yeah,
I will say that. Brings the positivity to the team.
Operator in Serena's hand. Early shoulder pick there, nothing for it. She's going to stand in the middle of the fast lane. Okay, might need to duck and dodge around this one. Pinged and forced out to the back of the site through the dark cover, and she gets away. Here's a Hunter's Fury. But again, no concrete information to play off of this with, so it is speculation for UR, and a catch on to Ev at least.
Similarly to that prior round, it will allow the rotates to come from Zeta, but they're not in position to flood with the spike going down.
And they can't play off the trapwire there either. Good swing from Serena, but there's more to do. Dodo not pushing up into spawn. Gets one that's going to be all she can really ask for now, being as low as she is. And Serena, passive angle, catches late through the side of the box. Now 3 versus 3, and Suzu wants to get involved. Spotted out, catches Star battle, 1-for-1. Suzu, beautifully done. Now it's on Ev, and Suzu gets a 3rd. Stunning retake for Zeta.
Really starting to heat up Suzu in this lower bracket. In danger of a repeat with her stint with Fennel back in 2022. Went out just in 2 games. Wasn't able to go for a deeper run then, trying to now with this new Zeta team.
She was on loan with that team as well. Now she gets to sit here with the team she's worked with all year. Look at that.
Nice!
Coach Ryota, every reason to get excited. Jovi with that Boostio impression, I like that. Chairs optional.
I'm out of here.
Such a contrast we're seeing from Zeta at this land. Even in the loss against Crew, they never faltered in their confidence, which is something that they were succumbing to regionally when they played in the final against Zipto. Not the case here. Even higher stakes, and they are not letting it get to them at all.
Trade of util here over on the A side. Zeta with 2 players anchored in A. Moko with the eyes on the all-important sewer part of the map. It should be spotted out by Ev. Moko tucks and actually stays invisible. Smokes it out.
This defensive fault line from Akko, if the hit comes in, will be pivotal. You know, at the right timing, maybe you are able to get a free pick off of it.
They don't like what they see, FlyQuest. Okay, they insert Dodo Nut. Maybe just her for the time being. Akko on the other side of that fast lane. Dodo Nut's about to get busy in hell. It's going to be Akko winning it out with the Guardian of all things, but Fly are headed elsewhere. They're off to C.
Yeah, this was all just a fake with their Cypher. Oh, Serena again with this defensive operator. And now they can just fully play for retake, Zeta. Just group up. Go for one of those big set pieces that they're typically good at. Another
trade.
Good trade from Suzu. Lace is in position.
There's a catch here on UR, timing for Lace. Sova now down. Much rests on Theia here, sitting towards C long, but Zeta Division are only just now getting into this C side and trying to clear it. Theia with a TP, cancelled it, doesn't see any information back towards spawn. There's someone on the spike, she knows it. Suzu on the defuse, she's sticking it!
Just sucking all the way through. The spray just going slightly awry.
Now we're cooking.
Absolutely, this operator that's come into play for Serena over towards the site has been so good. 2 rounds in a row, finding a crucial pick here. Just as the dark cover comes up, pure intuition.
And then trade here is fine. There was that time in Lace finds, of course, on the B side, getting rid of UR, but already FlyQuest were underhanded, short-handed.
Just think about how difficult this has been for Zeta in terms of the economy of the game. Flyer just buy after buy after buy.
Still, it's a little bit higgledy, so to speak. Akko still with the Guardian to hand. Suzu gonna be relying on the overdrive, and she is descended upon Fly. Wrapping up through C-Log, and Starbound is overwhelmed instantly. Donati with a relay bolt and overdrive of her own, but UR finds the other angle. And now it's up to Theia and Ev. Stuck in garage, revealed for all to see. Suzu waits for the opportunity. Doesn't quite connect here. Ev a little bit low. And a re-clear by UR now. The ping Moko with a backstab timing and Zeta get their 4.
Zeta are everywhere on a round like that, swarming them. So swift. Again, not losing a drop of confidence throughout this half, despite only having 1 in the first, what was it, 8 rounds? Look at Suzu just...
We're getting that early ground aggression. We're getting that proactivity from Zeta Division. It looks well drilled. It looks smooth.
Nice. That flank all the way through C was so good.
3 in a row.
All right.
Huddersfield is still here for Ev to work with in our last round of the half.
Trying to take a deep breath here for a moment, but I don't think I'm going to get one. The action has just been furious, relentless. Serena caught Dodo Nut instantly.
What a fault line from Arco. That sets up that kill onto the Neon. FlyQuest wasting no time, trying to get over towards this A side, though UR Serena gets into the side. Paranoia mostly dodged, but UR was flashed briefly, and Starbound are finding opener. Serena with the swing. 1 is good, 2 is even better. She's at 3 for the round, and Moku's going to be there in a 1 versus 1. Starbound waiting on it, and they're able to clutch it. FlyQuest have to work real hard for that 8th.
Felt like we just watched a 5-minute half. I mean, we're going to break?
Yep.
I guess, all right.
Not paid by the way, thankfully.
Are we 5 rounds in? That was a mental half.
As the artist goes down, crazy end to the half here, but FlyQuest right themselves and get to 8 rounds. Finally, we see Summer Zeta Division. Can they carry this momentum in the next half? We're going to find out after this.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Four rounds in it here on Haven. And FlyQuest get the last round of the half to solidify an 8-4 lead on their attack side. The Zeta Division have shown us a little bit of what got them here in the first place now. Some great early round aggression behind this Suzu Neon. Now they go on the attack side. Can they set the pace to start this half?
They were playing with some fire in their hearts throughout that entire half, despite the deficit, despite Fly in full control of the game. And really, a lot of credit to Ryota, the coach of Zeta. After that timeout, look at the changes that were made. Some of those big early round set pieces, the proactivity on the Suzu flanks. Have to give a ton of credit there. That timeout was the flip of the half, where Zeta are now back in this game. It was looking like a blowout, no longer. If they win the pistol here, we are on for a banger.
Again, this is an elimination game now. First round of lowers. Neither team wants to let the dream end here. Slow start from Zeta though. They may be anticipating a push-up here from FlyQuest.
Just playing for a timing of a mid re-clear off the flash. No one there for Dodo to actually engage with. We'll just fall back, and Ev just single peeking, content with fully retreating if necessary. Fly ready to play for the retake on A.
They've seen enough, and it actually will be an attempt at Fly getting some extra players to anchor into this A side. The Zeta Division far from convinced that that's where they should be headed. You are star of the first half of Zeta Division.
Patient from the Zeta side. They went for a drone re-clear of mid, didn't spot anything, and now look at Serena on the map. Worked through Garage because of that. Cam broken, denying that passive info gain for FlyQuest.
FlyQuest haven't quite calibrated to the pace of Zeta Division. They end up pulling off this A side whilst Zeta Division look to commit some resources finally 42 seconds in the round. I think there's a lot to be seen here for Serena. Holding this corner. Oh, the timing! Oh, that one is going to sting. Either way, over towards the side. The problem being, though, that Arco E is down. Ev was waiting in heaven on A.
Suzu wants to press forward, wants to find something to try and even the odds. Cat has to dodge the fault line, relay bolt to stymie the retake.
Another for Rev from heaven, though. This could be a problem. Dodo gets... Ah! That is supposed to be a paranoia! You are not supposed to be able to see Dodo! Hello?
That timing was so brutal earlier in the round, though, for Serena. I love how Zeta were working the map in that instance. It was so patient towards A that created some of that presence. The drone that re-cleared mid into the breaking of the cam made it feel like there was going to maybe be a C split coming in. They get the free sight, and then Ev gets a spam down through heaven as well.
Beautiful.
It was well played from Fly, well played from Zeta, but it was the gun duels and that just sick timing that Serena suffered from Dodo in the mid re-clear.
Dodo gets in, shrugs off the flash, good to go. Damn, what a line with this Outlaw! You are trying to play for that orb. Punished instantly.
At least gets 2 orbs though. I believe they were able to pick that up. So listen, you'll take it on the classic only round, and they'll be glad they did opt for the classic only round. There is an Outlaw in play.
Definitely not worth investing too heavily in this one for Zeta. Looking to group up here. Lacking the util with no Sova to clear this tripwire, so gonna have to eat it. They clear it out. Fault line, though, connecting on Suzu. This is going to slow things up. They are getting ready for a push now. Fault line, well connected. Paranoia thrown out here to try and disrupt, but Suzu's still able to get the spike down. Ev onto the side, getting aggressive now, but Theia's able to win it out. That first trade. Now you'll cut out of the sight. Serena can't get through Garage, and Mocha will fall.
Theia, who, by the way, was at Champions last year for GCC, but also went out in just 2 games. Same for Starbound, that EG duo that then, created this Fly roster this year. They're in the same danger that Suzu is in, going out 0-2 again. Got that experience, though, at the very least last year. And Theia right now playing very well. A bunch of his 16 assists as well. Just combined with Theia and Lace, they've got 30 assists at the moment. The real team players.
Extremely involved. I mean, that util has been put to such good effect, especially Lace's setups. FlyQuest, I mean, we're busy getting excited about what happened, but they won the pistol, of course, anti-eco, so they are getting awfully close to critical mass here to take away Haven.
Feels silly to say, but this is must-win for Zeta. The game is essentially over. They have to convert this anti-bonus. Recon, dark cover, standard to get your Neon in that close position on A, control that part of the map, and they're going to leave Ev with that Stinger, the close-range weapon, to just hold, tucked in the cubby.
And against the team that's slow like Zeta, that push up on A is going to force a later round re-clear. It's going to put Zeta under more time pressure than they otherwise like, and that's a rifle down. Starbound able to check that line in towards Garage. Deal with Serena.
Just lost the duel. A couple shots onto Starbound, but not enough. Suzu has to deal with the tripwire. Backs off. Drone to re-clear, but is it going to see Ev? No, because Dodo Nut stayed on that line.
Standing ahead.
Good recon, good awareness from UR.
And that's going to at least confirm the position of a player. Additionally tucked. You see the minimap ping on the location of Ev, so Zeta now know 2 players are still committed to the A side of the map.
They're really going to need to get a clean kill on Starbound here to gain access to the C site. They're still... Actually, they're not even holding the angle. They're just playing passive, allowing the trips to do the work for them.
They can avoid these trips, though. They're not really set up for a push out of Garage here. Starbound hit by that relay bot, and Suzu's trying to get through, but caught by the tripwire. Starbound's easily able to find a ghost kill. Arco swings out here. Beautifully done, but it's going to take more. Moko's found 3 and still wants to get aggressive up on this one. It's got to be Moko! What? An ace for Zeta Division! What a way to stay alive!
Exactly when they needed that most. The most pivotal round for them. That should have been the game over with a FlyQuest win. With Starbound playing that patiently, found that opening, and then just passive back plat. Knows it at that point. Keeping the trips, keeping the utility active on the C site. More important than trying to find any more shots with the Outlaw. And you saw the value of that. It shut down Suzu. The clutch factor from Zeta.
They're feeling good about this, but on the other side, your economy for Zeta Division is still a little shambolic. Timeout called here. That was that buy round that Zeta had been looking for this whole half, and they only take one rifle out of it against a FlyQuest who can be mostly armed to the teeth.
And I mentioned it as we were getting into the second half. I was giving credit to Coach Ryota, who's on your screen right now, because it was after a timeout in the first half when Zeta were able to get back into the game. They came out with 2 big set-piece early round aggression type rounds in a row. They won the first on a pure eco and then went for the intended one on the second where they had all of their ultimates. So I'm just looking to see what kind of set piece they've got for this round. Again, that is what I'm expecting. That is what I think of. That is what I associate with this Zeta team.
We're still too early in the half, though, for ultimates to be a huge factor here. And Zeta won't have another timeout to sort of work on that.
Zeta have fully committed to the buy. You know, if the rounds were closer, they probably would have just opted for the save here. But with the status of the game, with the lead of FlyQuest, they have to put it all on the line. And winning here would break the Fly economy. Both teams at risk fully with the economic status.
Might be one of the most pivotal rounds of the half. Off we go. Suzu wants to quickly head over towards the B side. Fast lane gets a reach. He's actually gotten through, wrapping around towards C. Starbound! Not ready for it, but still is able to win it out. That's a backbreaker for Zeta. They try and recover it. Moko gets in and finds a 1, but that is it. 3 left for Zeta.
It feels like that just had to be must-win from Suzu. Utility lacking for these Zeta players in sight. They want to fight close. They want to take the fight to them even. Need to do so with the SMG.
Trap wide there, set up. Sorena trying to play off of it. It was up to Arco. And it's just too much to handle. And that is a heartbreaker round for Zeta Division with both teams' economies hanging in the balance. They pull up just short.
And they do go for a cool set play again, right out of the timeout.
Starbound was not ready for that.
No, not at all. Suzu had such an opportunity. It's so tough to say, but if they just found that kill clean with a teleport behind as well, that would have been a wrap on the round. You've got to imagine. That is so tragic. It is so tragic.
Oh, and I tell you what, it goes from bad to worse. FlyQuest now get some of these big ultimates ready to roll. They've got the weaponry. Zeta Division down to, oh man, a Frenzy, Stinger. That's it.
Absolute heartbreaker.
How do they put it together? We saw Zeta win a really key Mastercard thrifty in the previous half. They springboarded into a gun round win.
Looks like they just want to go for an explosive B hit. Try and play close range with the Stinger and the pistols while there's going to be lurk through garage so fast. Oh my god, Suzu fearless on this fight, but the retreating Dodo with the superior weapon takes that kill.
I like this reposting of UR here on that linked position, but she's not going to remain there. Theia might opt to back out here of garage, spot Serena. Cybercage going to be deployed to allow the Cypher to be elsewhere now. We are in a post-plant world. Dodo knows that UR has gotten into air, but somehow that Sober has been quite the nuisance, but eventually there's the push out of garage. Now they can wrap towards mid. Lace eventually deals with Moko, but man, she cannot be shifted. UR, after returning from an alternate postcode, finds herself in a 1 versus 5 with Theia on the defuse. Insurmountable odds as FlyQuest will notch up another round.
And at this point, just get that defuse. Actually, didn't even need it. At least got enough kills to get that ultimate active. Rolling Thunder for the final round to close this map out.
Flawless round.
Not even Fly's map pick. But at least for Zeta, Fly's actual pick, Sunset, is another good map for the Japanese side. I was impressed by their play there within their region, within the Pacific qualifier as well. So I really haven't lost hope in them. And despite the scoreline, I have been impressed with a lot of their play on these rounds. What they've been able to cook up out of the timeouts.
They're definitely beating the passive team allegations, I think. If you take a simplistic look at Zeta, you might come away feeling like that, but no, I've really enjoyed the pace variations we've gotten from them. And this is almost a response to Fly's tendency to go for an aggressive pop for A-long early. Zeta want to meet that head on, excuse me, but FlyQuest simply back away.
Serena
ready.
Here's that teleport, takes the duel, but they are the IGL still looking great on this map in terms of the individuality as well.
Some of these duels across the course of Haven go a little bit differently.
Yeah, frankly, that is the critical factor in this
here.
game on a number of these rounds. I think early on, Fly were playing better in terms of the fundamentals. but it's the gun duels as Zeta have come alive tactically that have kept Fly with this strong lead.
So there's another Explorer re-clear of mid by FlyQuest. So now they know they can commit some of their forces over towards the seaside. They're going to be ready for this hit. This is it for Zeta. They have to take this down. They've got to win this round. Suzu's going to be caught out though. Rolling Thunder used by Lace, and Zeta are reeling here on the site. Mocha's able to find one though, and Suzu, how do you recover like that? Still brought down by Lace, sitting back of sight here. Spike though, still an issue. Neural Theft going to come through, Starbound cannot hold on, and Zeta Division dig their heels in.
Another round where Moko at the last moment stepping up the crucial trade just to keep them alive for one more round. A round where, listen, they do have a lot of ultimates to play with. 6 chances for Fly.
I mean, we're on Suzu's POV so much of that round. We have no idea what's happening. So much util getting used on the side. But it's the waves that come in.
Was stunned for 45 seconds.
It's the waves that come in from behind Suzu, though.
Yeah.
That make a big difference. Moko's been so good here.
Right there. Has been the standout, has been that steady hand in the crucial moments.
6-12. Zeta Division have to keep these rounds rolling in. And hey, they've got the ultimates to support that.
And
Rolling Thunder up.
What a round to have them. Look at the economy for FlyQuest. This should be a round worth 2 if they can convert.
So once again, Zeta do stack their claim towards a long, oh dear, that's just a peak there, a double, maybe a high-low even.
You have just a triple phase 2 from B main, Theia from garage doors. And look at this read from Fly. Immediately, they have Dodo and the breach. Lace in the support, all of that util to stuff the Zeta effort at the choke.
Is that Rolling Thunder? Dodo pulling off at the side entirely. Has overdrive available. Suzu has that ready to go, but Moko gets taken down. Ev able to find one early. Swinging out from Sewer. A second. Dodo takes what would have been the third, and Suzu has to duke it out now from Hell. And there's just not enough heat on that overdrive. FlyQuest bring Lace into the lineup, and they don't miss a beat.
They look utterly sick in terms of the individual game right there. Starbound dropping 20, Ev with 19, Lace with 17. I mean, everybody, funny enough, but Dodo not going positive. That individual firepower was the linchpin of the victory.
And there were so many intricate strats here from Zeta Division. Individuals like Suzu pushing up some great flank timings, but losing out on some of those duels, Wyatt. The firepower not quite there for Zeta Division, but another opportunity to turn around on Sunset looms after the break.
Double thumbs.